Hey, it's Jay with 1791 Actual. Thanks for stopping in. Glad you decided to join me for a few minutes. Just got back from the range, and hidden under here is something that I just picked up yesterday. Took it out to the range today to try it out, and I'm kind of impressed. I think it needs some break-in time. Sadly, I didn't take any new ammo, factory new ammo with me, so I was testing it out with some of my reloads that apparently due to the strength of the recoil spring and the newness of the magazine spring, follower spring, my ammo is kind of weak sister for it, I think. So I had been kind of downloading the 9mm because I got arthritis pretty good, and 9mm can be a little bit snappy depending on what you put it in. And most of my 9mm do have a lot of snap to them. So I've been kind of downloading it. Didn't think about that when I picked a box of it up to take to the range with me for this guy's first outing. But anyway, without further ado, let's talk about what hides under here. Springfield Armory. Since 1794. Quite fitting, I think, for a channel called 1791 Actual. Basically, they've been around just a few years less than the Second Amendment itself. So, talking a little bit about Springfield Armory. Springfield Armory actually started out, I believe, back in, and don't quote me on this. Don't rake me over the coals over being incorrect. I don't have the data on the screen in front of me, so I'm kind of working from memory. But I believe they actually started out, and up until I think it was like sometime in the 90s, maybe, was actually based in Springfield, Massachusetts. Now they're actually in the state of Illinois, my home state, and they're in a town called Geneseo. And Geneseo isn't really all that far from Springfield, Illinois, so Springfield Armory still fits. Anyway, let's talk about what we've got in here. And it doesn't come with a plastic hard case. It comes in a fairly sturdy, but cardboard box, that's cool, because inside the cardboard box is this nice, I would call it probably 1,000 denier ballistic nylon case with a kind of a silky lining. It's got a little bit of got a little pouch over here. It only comes with one magazine, but fortunately I already had a 9mm 1911 mag. Wait, did I say 9mm 1911? Correct. It is a 9mm 1911 Springfield Armory Garrison, and this one is with the 4 1/4 inch barrel. It's not the full length, the 5-inch full size. And as you saw, my 2 magazines are down here in the case, and they are empty, as is the gun. Pop him open, show you inside there. You can look down in there for the safety sallies and the Nancy Nazis. There you go. It's empty. Nothing up my sleeve. Nothing in the hole. All right. Anyway, moving right along. Get all that obligatory garbage out of the way. And what we've got over here on the side, as you can see, one of my cleaning trays. All the little bays for all the little goodies. I've actually added a couple of things to it. I've added the tap hammer. It's got a nylon head and a brass head. So we'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. But back to what we're here to talk about is the gun. And it is a 1911. It has the classic safeties, and I'm going to do something right now that the algorithm won't like. Hear that click? Okay. This is pointed at my boom cam. Not as in boom as in go shoot, but boom as in on an articulated arm. And what is behind that cam is a barn, trees, dense trees, and blue sky open for about 5 miles. Okay, so if you think that something could come out of here, go through the camera, come out your screen and get you, you're on the wrong channel. Okay? Doesn't work that way. So get off it. Anyways, 1911s. Let's talk a little bit about the venerable 1911. Invented by John Moses Browning. The 1911 moniker was actually when the patent went in on this pistol. There was an earlier one, I believe, in 1908, which is slightly different, but this is the one. This is the one that went to patent, got adopted by the U.S. military, and was the standard issue sidearm of the U.S. military until I believe sometime in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, maybe, when they adopted the Beretta FS92. And so this guy goes back all the way. This one comes with the low profile, very narrow walnut grips in the classic 2-diamond style with the Springfield Armory logo here in the middle. Very minimally stated Garrison. On this side, it's got the Springfield Armory logo, very nicely done. Just very, it's kind of hard for you to see, kind of hard to get that on camera where you can actually see their logo very well. But so 1911, it's got the skeletonized hammer. It's got the extended beaver tail, which is not only extended here, but it also the hump back here on the grip safety is a little bit exaggerated. So the hand, at least my hand, fits right in there, and that heel of your hand, the meat at the heel of your hand, presses that in. That's one of the safeties. Another safety, that are cocked, is here on the side, and you can't turn this safety on without it being cocked, because that's how this is designed to be carried, is cocked and locked. And with this up, it cannot fire. If I drop that safety and I don't press in here, or I don't press firmly enough here, nothing happens. If I press in here with this down and squeeze on that trigger, and you see that there was barely any movement there to trigger that. Now, I also want to point out the reset. Listen carefully. You hear it click, and you'll notice almost no movement. That's what I love about a 1911 trigger. Instead of pivoting, having a pivot pin up here and the trigger swinging back and activating all kinds of mechanism back here, it has a pair of bars that come back on the sides. This is a straight travel trigger. It goes straight back, only direction it goes. This Garrison has a skeletonized trigger. It is adjustable. There is a little hole right here with a set screw back here where you can actually adjust that if there's a little bit too much take up or travel. See, there's a little bit of travel. That is the total travel distance of that trigger, and right at the very face of that is where it disengages the sear. That's all the motion that's necessary. Even a Glock, for those folks that say, well, I like to have the same trigger pull on every shot. I don't like double action, single action because of that hard first pull. Well, SIG does that better than anybody. The whole double action, single action thing. They've got a nice, strong first pull. Means you have to really be thinking about it. And then after that, very light pulls. This same basic concept in that you pull it out and you try to shoot it. You can't. Assad Ayub actually tells a story about a police officer that was carrying in 1911, and they did some testing and had bad guys pick up this 1911 and try to use it. They couldn't. It kept going like this, and it wouldn't go off. Of course, the trainer, which I think at the time Mass was a trainer, he picks it up, flips off that thumb safety, and it works. So a lot of bad guys may not be familiar, and I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of bad guys may not be as familiar with the 1911 and the fact that you have to A, have it cocked, and B, if it's cocked, have this safety down and have a nice, because even with this down, I'm kind of fumbling around, okay? So it's a beautiful part. Also with the extended beaver tail, when it is cocked, that hammer, instead of like my other 1911s that had the wide paddle hammer and the short beaver tail, this actually sits down into that beaver tail. So there's nothing there to snag. It also protects it in the event that the gun was dropped, hit the back of that hammer, and somehow snapped something loose here and caused it to hit the firing pin. It can't land on the back of the hammer, and if it landed on this part of the hammer, it might break this, but it's not going to snap anything in here and release enough action. So 1911 is possibly the absolute safest pistol ever built. True testament to John Moses Browning. This one also has drift adjustable front sight in a dovetail, and drift adjustable dovetail rear sight in kind of a Novak style, kind of like a Novak, what they call a Novak cut. It's a low profile combat type of sights, 3-dot. They quite nicely painted. They're not night sights or anything like that, but they are painted enough that you can actually get a pretty good look at them. So, like I said, I just got back from the range, so let's give him a quick little cleaning. And as y'all know, I don't edit videos. I don't. Yeah, what you see is what you get. Just like if this was a live. Problem is my internet connection goes in and out sometimes when I try to do live, so instead I do the whole record it and upload it later. So we're going to get our cleaning tray over here. case over here out the way. So let's start with how do you take a 1911 apart? Well, this one is just like any other, and you'll notice that hole is real small. It's not. I've mentioned it before, but it's not a 45. You know, a lot of purists will say, "Oh, it's not a 1911 if it's not a 45 ACP." Well, kind of. You can check me on this, but I believe the original 1911 was 38 Super or 32 Super. 38 Super, I believe, was the caliber. The 45 ACP followed quickly behind it because of how beefy this thing was, and it was, and the military wanted something a little bit stronger, so they came up with the 45 ACP, which has become synonymous with 1911. And you know, somebody says a 45, they're not talking about a 45 long Colt. They're talking about 45 ACP, and they're usually talking about a 1911. Yeah, call me a fud, whatever. I'm old. I got the white beard, and to prove my fuddism. But let's talk about taking this bad boy down. So you see that there's a button right here on the front. That is actually the front of the recoil spring. Now, I've seen a lot of videos lately on taking these down where they just start from here, they push out they bring the slide back. So we have two notches in the side of the slide. One is right here, and this right here goes up into that to lock the slide to the rear. Right like that. And this is a slide catch. It is also a slide release because this bad boy is designed for you to come up, hold it this way, come up with that left hand to wrap it around and get your grip. And you hit this with your thumb and it slams around home. Not all this slingshot, bing, bong, bang, modern new stuff that they're doing. Trust me, if you're going to wear out either this or this by using it as a slide release, your pistol isn't worth having. It's not worth the price you paid for it, and it's certainly not worth being in your inventory. Yeah, call me a FUD, whatever. Okay, so next, whoops, I guess I still need that. Okay, don't I? We need to look at the other notch. There's a second notch. The notch right here. Okay, this notch will align back here and allow this to be pressed out. Now, what I've been seeing in these videos is people grabbing it Glockish and pulling this back and holding back against that recoil spring like they were disassembling a Glock, and push this out and then lay that to the side, and they're still holding on to this, and then they're gonna release this. Well, that recoil spring is strong enough it's liable to launch that slide off. And when you take it apart that way, your recoil spring, your barrel bushing, your guide rod are all still in the slide. Not a good plan, because that recoil spring, these don't have a full-length guide rod. Most don't. Unless you have a full-length guide rod, don't take it apart like that, because what happens is in this channel, that spring is constantly under tension. Whether it's being racked or not, there is tension on that spring, and when you pull that off, that spring is going to try to do one of these and get bent. So what we're going to do is we're going to cock it, safety on to hold the slide from being able to move. Set it on its butt. We're going to press down on this button and rotate. Holding down on it, we're going to rotate that barrel bushing. And we're going to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise to the 9 o'clock position, and we're going to allow this to come up. Don't let your fingers slip off of it or it'll poke a hole in the ceiling. See, you can see right there. See how much tension is on that recoil spring? I mean, and see how it tries to drift? If you take that slide off with that recoil spring still under tension, it's going to try to find a way to escape, which means it's going to bend in the middle. So I'm going to lift that off. I'm going to go ahead and pull the recoil spring out. We're going to rotate our barrel bushing around to the 4 or 5 o'clock position. And you'll notice there's a lug right here. That lug aligns with this gap. And when it's not aligned, it won't go in or come out until you get around here to about the 4 or 5 o'clock position. And you can see right there. See it drop in? And when you come over here, it's locked in. When you're in this position, it's locked in. You get around here to about that 4 or 5 o'clock, and you can slide down. Next, we're going to take our safety off, slide our slide back, and you notice there's no recoil pressure now, no tension. And we're going to slide that back until this aligns. At which point, I'm going to come over here and where this protrusion is, press on that protrusion, and your takedown lever starts to come out. And this being brand new gun, just a few rounds through it. It's a little bit stiff getting him out. There's your takedown lever. Now we can slide that forward. You're going to catch your partial length guide rod and the barrel. Oh wait, I can't get the barrel out. Look at that, look at that. Oh, that's right. It's not a modern design. It's old school design. So I'm going to lift that barrel, get that barrel so that the locking lugs will release. And slide him forward. And then I need to drop that arm so that it'll go through the hole. And it comes out the front of the slide. And there you have it, there you are. They're field stripped 1911. Now I want to point out, right in here, this is your breech face. This is where the firing pin is. So when you're cleaning, you want to be very, very careful that you don't get a bunch of grease or crap in there that could possibly collect debris. And you can take a tiny, tiny pick if you want. Just kind of reach in there a little bit, make sure there's nothing obstructing. So, to clean, I like to start with the barrel. I use mineral spirits. Check out Gun Blue. I think it's like Gun Blue 426 or something. Channel. And he gets into, in one of his videos, he gets into explaining about using mineral spirits. Basically, all CLP, hoppies, all of that. And I grew up on hoppies. I used to love that smell. But come to find out, the active part of that, the cleaning part of it, is mineral spirits. And I can get a bottle this size of hobbies for the same price that I paid for a gallon of mineral spirits. So we're going to start off. We're going to spritz a little bit of mineral spirits down that barrel. Kind of let it run around down in there. Lay it over here. We'll go ahead and spritz just a little bit in and on all of our removed parts. And just to kind of let it work its way around in there and kind of soak a little bit. Don't really need it on my pick, I don't suppose. So then we're going to grab our barrel, or our slide, a couple of spritzes in there, grab our frame, a couple of spritzes there. About all you need, really. Just a couple of spritzes. And I keep this old piece of t-shirt just to kind of wipe a little bit. And one of the great things about mineral spirits is, unlike CLP and all those that say, oh, don't let it get on wood, don't let it get on wood. Mineral spirits cleans wood. It gives it a little bit of patina. It hardens it a little bit. As does the lubricant that I use, which is mineral oil. Same thing as far as the price goes. You get the same situation with mineral oil that you do with mineral spirits. So you get one of these little spritz bottles or a dropper bottle, pour it out of the gallon jug into there, and put it in your handy dandy 1791 actual gun cleaning center. What do I use for patches? Well, patches, Mr. Patches, is squares of old, plain white, 100% cotton t-shirt. And old t-shirts, make sure that they're, don't use, number one, don't use colored ones because you can't tell if you're getting the schmutz out of your pistol or not, or your rifle. But the white ones, it's easy to tell. I mean, you can see this guy here. He's been used as like a final wipe for a very long time, and I just kind of use him to wipe the outside after I'm all done, make sure I don't have any oil or anything on the outside of the pistol. But so we're going to grab one of our cleaning brushes. I actually got bays for two of them, two of these mil-spec, military style cleaning brushes. Probably want to grab my specs so that I can see down inside here and make sure that I'm getting everything nice and clean. And we're going to grab our brush, and we got our little bit of mineral spirits down in there. And I see that I actually did get a little bit of crud down in here. And my reloads, I think were a little bit on the dirty side, and maybe a little bit on the weak side. Being a all steel 1911, weighs in, I think, at 36 or 37 ounces empty. Can't really feel the recoil of a 147 grain 9mm slug. And we're taking our brush and running all down through the rails. Sure don't have any garbage in there. Down at both of those rails, down around this chamber here. We do the same thing up here on our frame. I mean, this frame is actually heavier because there's more steel there. It's actually heavier than the slide. But these come either in a stainless version or the blued version. This is old school bluing. I mean, I love that. I love that look. It's not parkerized. It's old school bluing. But they are not cast. They are forged steel components. It's 100% made in the U.S. And it comes with a stainless barrel that is it's a heavy barrel, and there's a little bit of a flared feel to it right here. This is what is called a match grade barrel. This guy is quality professional competition shooters would use. And at not nearly the price of the competition shooter's pistol. So if you're competent, not a competitor, but if you're competent at all, this will actually make you more. And I'm just kind of going around here making sure that we've got all the, don't have any carbon or anything on any of these parts. And we don't, so that's all good. And then I use these, I've got a couple of pairs of these, I've got a pair of regular bent nose tweezers, but I don't really use them that often in working on a handgun or on a rifle for that matter. But I've got these automatic squeezy tweezers, tongs, coming in handy, and then I've got this one that is a locking. You slide that back and it opens up so that you can pick up your patch, slide that forward, and basically make like a steel-handled or an aluminum-handled swab. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to go ahead and grab us a patch. Put it in there, slide that forward so that it pinches it, and there you go. We got basically a cleaning swab. And we're going to, again, quick spritz. And kind of get down in here and kind of wipe around. And after we do the brush treatment, we do the swab treatment. The brush is going to loosen things up. The swab is going to come back through and finish removing it. See what I use in white, you can see how much crud I'm getting off of it, which really isn't a lot, but you know. And you know, if you listen to guys like Bill Wilson, you know, he'll fire thousands of rounds through this 1911. Just keep it wet. Yeah, okay. Well, that's good on you, Bill. Personally, I like a clean firearm. I make a trip to the range, and when I get home, I clean whatever I shot. Just like you go hunting. You have to go hunting when you get home or in the field. You gotta clean what you shot. Now, you'll notice already I've got a little bit of a wear mark right here and right here. Not much going on here, but a little bit right here. On this side, Also, I've got a little bit of wear here and back here. It's wear and kind of all along right in here. That's where this rail is contacting that rail. That shows you the tolerance. Now this is already starting to wear that bluing off right there. And it's wearing the bluing off right here. And this only got about 50 rounds through it, and then maybe several hundred racks, because you can actually work toward your break-in on a handgun just by simply while you're watching TV or watching YouTube videos or something. Just sit and rack that sucker. And with nothing in there, you can actually slide it on. You can hear it rubbing. It's working. Those two surfaces are learning about each other. They're working themselves together to form that ultimate unified part. So let's go ahead and wipe on our barrel a little bit. You thought I was going to stuff that down there, didn't you? I know you did. No, I'm not going to do that. I am, however, going to get my little 9mm tip. Let's see, which one of these does it fit in? We've actually got a couple of different thread pitches here. Put the extension on it. Now for a rifled barrel, which this is a rifled barrel, I'll show you what that means. Rifled barrel has what's called lands and grooves. And you can see those ridges are their lands, and then grooves that are grooves. Which means that the bullet, as it comes through here, is spinning. Just like on a rifle. That's why they call it a rifled barrel. So you don't want to just shove a brush through there. When you put your brush through, you want to use something that you can put against the heel of your hand that will allow it to rotate. So that as I press it in, it is following, and I can feel it turning. It's following those lands and grooves. And you notice pulling it back, it actually tried to unscrew a little bit. Go through, pull it out. And when you've only fired that little bit through it, it really isn't going to have much anything going on in there. So we'll go ahead and consider ourselves done with our brass brush, and always make sure you get you're getting brass brushes, not nylon or polymer. Next, we're going to grab our tip, or jag, as they call it. And back here, I've got the different picks, but I've also got rods. This is actually a military-style, old-school. Got it at a military surplus store. An old-school M16 cleaning system. See how it spins? There's a ball joint. Allows that to turn, but it's crimped so it can't go through, and it holds itself in place. I mean, these are great. But using these 3 additional pieces, you can actually clean a 20-inch barreled rifle. I tend to use just the handle section for my handgun. And we're going to get we'll go ahead and continue using this path for the moment for first pass. Turn that bad boy inside out. Feed just a little bit through the slot. Pull it through a little bit. I like to flip it over the end. And again, we're going to press this through, but we're not going to hold on to the stick. We're going to press it. We're going to press it through just using this like nice little spinning handle. Okay. I'm going to go that way. I'm going to press it through. Oh, in there, I did get some garbage out of there. And bringing it back, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab it. We're not going to come in contact with the rod. We're going to grab it, pull it back. We'll go through there again. Just try to watch this flat part of that rod. See how it rotated? And coming back. As you go in and out, it's going to rotate because this is following, just like the brush, that's following the length of the grooves. Okay, so that patch I would say is done. The next thing we're going to do, we'll make double sure that we're clean. Brand new clean patch in that barrel. And it came out just as clean as it went. So, I know we're going to go there. I do know that I squirted a little bit of mineral spirits down inside my Uniqlo cap. Make sure that that's dried out. It looks clean. That's clean. Check the guide rod. Guide rod's nice and clean. And I will go ahead and take this piece of patching, cinch it up, let one more pass, make sure that everything here is nice and clean, as clean as I think it is. See, I have a little bit of garbage up in here that I didn't get cleaned before. Clean out of it. Get to the side here just a little bit. We're going to call it clean. We're going to patch it up. Put that third off up. Time to reassemble. What do you do with those parts? First you need lubricate. And I told before I use mineral oil. And mineral oil is going to last probably 10 or 20 times as long as mineral spirits, because mineral spirits is more clean. But as done when it's hot, one drop, not bigger. That one drop is going to treat the top surface of the rails here. It's going to treat the sides of the rails. I don't have to take much more than just that one drop. And you can see how shiny it is. That's that oil. I mean, it takes like a micron thickness side, we're going to see here. Basically let a needle finger get down into there. And as you activate this slide later on, that lubrication will actually migrate further down into that channel, wherever it needs to be. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe a bunch of that off, and you can see how shiny that is. And a quick little wipe. I usually do this piece last. Quick little wipe right here. Now, before we do our assembly, I'm going to slide this together. Hear how different that is? Now there's a little bit of tension right there where they're still working together. If I could sit here while I'm watching YouTube videos or something and just kind of sit here and work that slide. Just as part of the break-in period. And looks like I've kind of got, like I might want just another tiniest couple of drops. This, like I said, it's still working its way in, and it's kind of got that lubrication is migrating. And again, you can see right in here where those parts are meeting and marrying, getting to know each other. So we're going to go ahead and take our jag off the rod. Okay, all that back over there. Now we're ready to go ahead and assemble. Now I've got just a little bit of oil on my fingers. So I'm going to just wipe the outside of this barrel just a little bit. Wipe right down here around this lug. Okay. So we're going to start by slipping our barrel in. And again, we need to flip that forward so that it'll fit. Oh, look how smooth that is. Oh man, I love that. I love how smooth that is. And it locks, man, it locks tight. Okay. So, next we're going to go ahead and pop our bushing in. Turn it around there. Kind of, gets it ready. And then we're going to take our guide rod, which has a curvature that fits very nicely onto the barrel. Now, in order to keep things nice and tight, notice this end of the spring is open, that end of the spring is closed. Closed end goes on the guide rod. In order to help line everything up, I go ahead and I put it in and see how I talk about how that is captive in there. If you pull that, look at what happens if I start pushing on that and putting pressure on it. Since there's nothing here to hold this down, now it tries to bend upward. Disassembly by that method that these guys are showing, where they take the slide off all in one piece, they are going to screw up their recoil spring. No two ways about it. It's gonna happen. So we're going to push this forward a little bit so that it's vertical. And I just noticed up inside there's a little piece of dirt or something, a little buzz. Poked myself on the pick. I need to work over that one end of that pick. So, and I always assemble it upside down. helps keep everything lined up as it comes in. And you can look through there and you can see right through there. That's what holds your barrel in place. Okay. So now we're going to slide that slide back to a point where this hole and this hole align. We're going to grab our slide lock / takedown lever, slip it through into the hole. Should slide right through very easily. Now you want to bring this up and align it in front of that detent. Get everything aligned. And make sure that this ridge and the top of this are in alignment so that it'll allow that to pass through and go through that gap. And it snaps right in all the way. Make sure that everything locks up. Okay. Now, we're going to bring our slide back. Make sure that it's still cocked. We'll put our safety on. Keeps that from anything from moving. Put our cap on the recoil spring. Press it down. Remember, you're starting to generate that pressure. Rotate our barrel bushing into place. Check our action. Do the outside a little wipey. Make sure our safety's working. Make sure our action, our reset. And I can actually feel just a little bit of movement starting to creep in right there. Feels good. Hear that? 1911 rattle. All right. There you have it, and there you are. The Springfield Armory 9mm commander length, 4¼ inch, 1911 with 9mm with 3-dot Novak style, low profile stop sights on it. That is one amazing pistol. Yes. Can't fire it until you cock it. Can't fire it with the manual safety. Can't fire it without the grip safety. When you do fire it, it's a nice, sweet trigger. Okay. So, there you have it. There you are. Thanks for joining me. We've been here close to an hour. Hope the sound of the printer back here over my shoulder didn't bother you too much. I'm printing a tray that goes in one of my ammo boxes. One of my latest printing projects. As I develop new and more 3D printed items related to Second Amendment. After all, 1791 actual. I'm Jay. And as always, thank you for liking and subscribing. If you like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Hit that notification bell. Make sure that anytime new content goes up, whether it's live or short or post or full-length video, whatever, hit that bell. It'll let you know when things come up, and we get more goodies that we want to talk about. I do appreciate all my subscribers. I'll say welcome back to Yulia and Juliana. They were away from the channel for a little bit, but they are back. Glad to have you girls back watching the channel. Appreciate your input. There's a couple of people that have been an issue and that have been removed from the channel, are no longer able to see or interact with the channel at all. You don't necessarily expect that until you get quite a few followers, but these couple of individuals hit right away, and I don't play. I don't play games. It is what it is, and they're gone. So again, I love my followers that love this content and participate. If you have questions, things you want to see, things you want to know more about, leave it down in the comments. I do look at the comments, and that'll do it for this Thursday afternoon chat, and call it an after action cleaning range day. Again, I appreciate all of you. God bless, and see you on the other side.